Hi friends, welcome. We are going to be going over Jotel's latest wood stove, the F602 version 3. So Jotel has been making wood stoves for over 170 years. And the F602 has been in production since the 40s. And they are now on version 3, and that is the V3 in their name. Now this stove is one of the most sold units worldwide, with over 2 million units sold, which is pretty amazing. And that kind of gives you testimony to how amazing this stove is. All right, let's go over the features of the F602 V3. Your flue outlet here is right around 4 inches. There is an increaser that comes standard inside the firebox when you receive your unit. So you put the reduce or the increaser on. Now you can get a 6-inch flue for the exit all the way up and out of the home. Down inside your firebox is a 0.82 cubic foot. Jotel says you can get a 16-inch log in here, which you can. You're just not going to fill the entire firebox with 16-inch log. The baffle slopes down as it goes back, so I recommend more like a 12 to 14-inch length of wood if you're really trying to fill up that firebox. You should get up to about a 5-hour burn time, depending on how much wood you can get in here. And this unit can heat up to 800 square feet. The efficiency on this, the high heat value, is 76.7% efficient, and the particulates leaving, the emissions leaving, are 1.4 grams per hour. The physical dimensions of this are about 26 inches tall, 12 5/8 wide, and 19 inches deep. For further dimensions, click the link down in the description. All right, let's talk about the benefits of the F602 and why you might consider this unit for your home. Jotel has incorporated the fusion technology into this unit, which is an award-winning design that they have incorporated in 3 of their other units. So there is a catalytic converter now added to this unit. There's no bypass control, and that's one of the great features of that fusion technology, which I'll go over in just a couple moments. Jotel makes it an option to vent off the top of the unit or the rear of the unit. They have kept the cook plate right here. This is an unpainted cast iron cook plate that can hold your water kettle or your cooking utensils if you're going to cook on it, and you don't have to worry about scraping the paint that's on this cast iron. You have an optional rear heat shield that you can move the unit closer back to a combustible surface. You can add the outside air kit, so you can bring combustion air from outside, and that delivers it right to the rear of the unit. This unit, you don't have a blower option on this one. One of the big changes on this unit compared to version 2 is that we no longer have to have a thermal hearth pad. It can just be an ember-proof hearth pad, and that's because of the lower heat shield that they put on under this unit. It lowered the temperature that was going out towards the hearth. So that's a great feature, because it was always a bit of a pain to get that 0.45, I think, thermal hearth protection for this unit. So that's a nice change that they've done for version 3. Now what I really like about this unit is the fusion technology. Since 2020, a lot of wood units are now catalytic combustor controlled, and most units will have a bypass control. So you're kind of watching the temperature of the unit, you're opening the bypass, you're then closing it. So it definitely takes more attentiveness when you have a bypass control on your catalytic unit. So with the fusion technology, it's a lot easier to use. And so there are some homeowners that it just, when there's one less thing to be monitoring, it's just so much easier to operate the unit. The other thing I really like about the unit is the cook plate. Being able to cook on the unit, not that you do it every day, but if you lose power and you want to cook inside, You have the flame, the ambiance, you have the heat, and you now can cook on it. That's just a nice feature that not a lot of wood stoves have. The other thing I really like about it is just the design, the cast iron. You have different angles, different textures, different shadowing going on, and you just don't get that with a steel stove. So I really love the unique shape of this unit, and it is one of my favorite small stoves that we offer. Okay, now is the fun part. We're going to light this thing on fire. We're going to load it up. We're going to do the top-down burn method, which we do have another video on that, which we highly recommend if you have a wood stove. And we're going to get this thing ripping and roaring. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the F602 version 3.